Good morning, Milwaukee. We are on 860 WNOV, 106.5 FM. Be a voice with Wisconsin Voices Radio. Good morning, Tamika. Good morning, Joe.
Hey.
Good morning.
Yeah, y'all. How y'all doing?
Doing great, man.
I'm just finishing a piece of candy because I had it was good.
I couldn't start mine because I would have been
Weather's Originals.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic.
It was good.
Like
my grandma always had those hanging out in a little candy jar. We'd grab them.
Well, I am Tamika Vukovic. I am the co-executive director of Wisconsin Voices. Then we have
Ryan Sanders, lead organizer for Wisconsin Voices.
And Joe Dre, policy director for Wisconsin Voices.
We always talk every day. We're going to talk civic engagement, but there's two topics I want to talk about. One is very important to me. Y'all, the Red Lobsters is closing.
Doom, doom, doom. I'm kind of salty about it, but I'm not.
But those biscuits.
I know, but you can buy them in the store now.
But they don't taste the same as the store.
If you play around with them a couple times, you get it right.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm just missing that.
I'm not sad.
I am. You don't understand.
I got a lot of memories at Red Lobster.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm a little bit of a food snob though, so.
But then there's also and it was
Bougie
interesting reading because they were like, I was like, Red Lobster used to be a pretty decent restaurant, but you know what their downfall was according to the article I was reading?
It was all you can eat.
The endless shrimp.
Ultimate endless shrimp.
Yep, I know.
And they had $11 million. I would have once I figured out that I was like, okay, we ending it. Y'all making me lose too much money.
You know, people take advantage of that. And what I was even doing a few times. Now I got to be over 7-8 years ago. I was, you can order how many different types you want right out the gate, so you don't have to be worried about the next time your round of shrimp is coming out. So just imagine all the people across the country ordering. Then you got the people who are really gluttons that just don't care about nothing. Oh yeah, they got it. I'm gonna eat as much as they bring out.
Or the ones that will gluttonly eat everything, then ask for one more and then take it home.
And then take about four or five more home.
Or they put it. My grandmother, let me tell you, my grandmother, Ella Mae Lucas, I love her dearly. But back when the country buffet was big back in the day, my grandmother would go to country buffet.
Bring the plastic bag.
No, all of a sudden she'd be sitting there and she'd be eating all like a bird. And then you come home later on that day, she got like 7 pieces of chicken in her purse. And she always took her big purse when she knew she was going to country buffet.
Oh, look at the readers.
Oh, Ella. Yeah, it was like, and then and she was such a wholesome, church-loving lady, and she would, and it would always be wrapped up in napkin and then slid into her paper. Now we hungry, later on in the day. You want some of that chicken? All of a sudden, she pulling out 5, 6, 7 pieces.
Good fried chicken, throwing it in the baking it real quick.
I mean, since we on the mitten train, I might as well jump on board with you. I really believe that my family is the reason why Country Buffet is out of business.
In southeastern Wisconsin, huh?
I forgot how many of it's 9 of y'all, right?
It's 9 of us, but you put 9 people in there and everybody got napkins. There's no more chicken. Everything is gone. So I want to apologize personally that I'm older to Country Buffet. I'm sorry we put y'all out of business.
It's not just your family. It's
a lot of people.
I just told you about grandma, and that's 2 that was living right next door to each other on 21st. So what do you think all the way down the streets?
Yeah, somebody else grandma I know was doing that too. They used to bring the freezer bags.
Well, yeah,
stuff like that.
See, but it was something about the Lorry seasoning that they used or something.
You talking on the chicken?
It was something about the seasoning, man. I don't know what it was.
Well, I wanted to start off on a light note, but I'm upset about the biscuits.
I used to like doing the biscuits and the applesauce.
Yeah, the biscuits. I'm just upset. I'm upset about it. All right, but let's talk about I was researching earlier today and yet last night for our show because we still want people to we're going to be starting, we're off the radio, we're going to be doing some rebroadcast of some of our stuff to give the staff a little holiday break. You know, we did consistently since we started, we have not missed a show except I think for one, and they need a break. I mean, it's a holiday week, so we're going to take that week off, and the station was already closed on Monday, so might as well do it and give somebody a break. But um, we've been talking about different things and scandals and engagement, but the one that I ran across today was the MPS Head Start funding got suspended. Now the story is it's suspended for 30 days, but you know they're not going to start in programming yet. You know, they'll still have the programming, but what the problem is that if they don't rectify the situation, um they're in jeopardy of losing the funding. And you say, what are the things they need to change or fix?
Mm-hmm.
It's teacher abuse and behavior mostly.
Mm-hmm.
um I was reading an article, I think it was CBS 58. I was reading the article, and some of the things that were done to the kids, um it was wow. It was um according to CBS 58, there was 19 different incidences between June 2022 and February 2023. Three of the incidences had happened at Metcalf School, where one of the incidents, staff was yelling at the children and threatening the children. Then there was an unannounced visitor, took notice of all the kids running around in the hallways unsupervised. And then there was an incident where a child vomited in the trash can. The staff just, you know, patted the kid on the back and offered some water. That is it. Didn't see what was wrong with him, how was he feeling, didn't call parents, nothing. Um, there's another incident where there was a newly uh, Head Start teacher, just started her first day, and she was yelling at kids, you know, uh, grabbing them and dragging them, the kids by the wrist, you know, down the hall and yelling at them. Um, and this was at Grant Gordon Learning Center. And there are some other ones that they mentioned in the article, but I was sitting there thinking, what is the issue? Um, is it, there could be many issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think let's start with the teachers. Some of the teachers are untrained. This is one of those jobs where you can get a job without really having to know if you can deal with kids. I have a friend of mine who went and got her 4 years. She went through 4 years of college to be a elementary school teacher. She did one semester as an elementary school teacher and said never again.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally went to a whole new, you know, career. But is it teachers, students? I think it's a combination of both.
I think you're right.
Let's talk about it. 414-444-5250. Um, a lot of times these teachers are burnt out, and I get that. Maybe that's why they do have these summers where they can rejuvenate and you know, start to miss the kids, but some of them have no patience whatsoever.
I would love to hear from a teacher. I would love if someone in the in the teaching profession would call in and just kind of give us their insight a little bit.
Especially when it comes to or smaller Head Start kids in elementary.
But yeah, we're seeing it across the country where teachers are leaving the profession. Like you said, your friend that did 1 year and it's like, hey, that's it. That's enough.
And this
for
was
me.
back in 1989, 90.
Right. And it's only gotten, I think, worse since then. So.
It has gotten worse, but what can we do for teachers?
Right.
And then there's the other element of the students that we'll get into, but I want to stick on the teachers a minute. What can we do to help them? Mm-hmm. We have a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yes. I was calling. And you was talking about the teachers.
Hold on 1 second. I can't turn your radio down. Turn your radio all the way down because we can kind of hear it in the background.
Oh, okay. Can you hear it now?
Yes, perfect.
The only comment I have to say, we harp on the teachers, but it starts at home. So some of these kids, we don't know the environments of these kids coming out. Teachers can't teach classes because they got to teach the kids that's coming from home. So I think a lot of the blame should start at home with the parents instead of the teachers. So I understand. My nephew was a teacher. He worked 1 week and quit because kids are out of control. They don't listen to the teacher. If they don't listen to their parents, how do we expect them to listen to a teacher? So I think it really starts at home, and that's all the comment I have on it.
No, we were getting there. You have a point. I have, during my work with the school system, I have found, like, when I took my daughter to school, I thank my teacher because they had them for 8 hours a day, pretty much, or close to it. That's sometimes even more. And if they go to daycare, that's more than waking hours that I was with her at times. Like I'm there on, Saturday and Sunday. But when you look at it, they get on some of these kids get on the bus as early as 6 or 7, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then they come home at 3 or 4, or they go to daycare. We pick them up at 5. 6, 7, 8, most of them or they should be in bed by 9 or 10. That's only a few hours that you have with them daily. Mm-hmm. So that's less than what they were at school.
But and you know what? Another thing, see, people don't want to admit it, but when they took discipline out of the school system, it run our children. And everybody wasn't abusing our kids in the school system. Some of them was discipline the right way. But when they took that out, because a lot of kids don't get no discipline at home, and a lot of homes you go to, the kids are telling the parents what they gonna do.
Go ahead.
So and I guess it's a generational thing, but a lot of if it don't start at home, we expect our teachers to correct it, and the teachers ain't got enough time in the day to do that.
And then they got to go worry about their own kids.
And then they got to worry about their own. Listen,
absolutely.
I totally agree with you, because I was just about to say that when you take accountability away, there's no way to hold these kids to any type of standard, because you took discipline away, to which then develop accountability. So now that they can't discipline, however which way they were doing it, now the kids is more of the leaders, and the teachers and the principals are the followers, because they're coming to school and they're doing whatever they want to do. They'll tell you to shut up, I'm not going to class, you go to class. And that's what's happening. So I totally agree with you, man.
So I guess thank you, caller. And I agree, and I will see what parents say. I mean, because have a parent call and talk about, if they having issues. But sometimes it looks like, how do you balance that, where I guess you have to know your child, because there have been times where I have been a mama bear, because I remember a few years ago, My daughter was at she went to Nicolay High School, and they, these girls get into it, they argue or whatever. And I remember one girl was just always in Jada's face. And I actually saw the video, so I know, what was going on. So there was a back and forth. And Jada said, I'm not going to fight you. And she turned around to go to swim lessons. And then I remember, or then the video shows that one of Jada's friends stepped in and said, but I'll fight you, because,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
Jada turned back around from swim class, grabbed her friend, or she was headed to swim, grabbed her friend and pushed her out the way. You're like, no, no, you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know Nicolay tried to suspend Jada for engaging
What?
and pushing her friend out of the, taking her
Mhm.
away from the situation? Well, she should have just kept walking away. And I'm like, but you guys teach them to stop fighting. You don't fight. So if she grabs her friend and stops her from fighting, isn't that a good thing? They tried to suspend her for, I remember it was like 1 or 2 days, and I fought it all the way up. And I fought it to the principal, and then I fought it to the superintendent, and the superintendent said no. And then I tried to talk to the school board. And finally, when I was getting ready to talk to the school board, they made this thing. Well, we won't suspend her now, but if she gets in trouble again, she will have double the suspension time. Now, I knew that she wouldn't get in trouble because literally from K5 until that was her sophomore year, she had maybe got a one of those, like she might got a smiley face or a yellow smiley face one day because she needed to be redirected, but consistently never got into
Mhm.
trouble. So that I know, no, that's not gonna happen. But they literally gave her probation. I say, y'all talking about pipeline to prison?
They suspended
This
the
is
suspension.
literally, you are putting her on probation.
Mhm.
And if anything happens, she all of a sudden gets the suspension, which she shouldn't have gotten in the first place. Now, I know my child. Now, there was another time that they said that she was talking in class all day one day. I knew that's her. And so instead of going to the teacher saying, you shouldn't have yelled at I instantly said, Jada, I know you talking in class all the time.
Mhm.
And those are the things you have to know your kid.
I truly believe that, again, just like you said, when they said that she was talking in class, and instead of you, no, she's not, you held your kid accountable because you know her. And that too comes at home with the parents and not allowing your kid to do any and everything. You have to hold them accountable.
Mhm.
Because if you hold them accountable from starting yay high for certain things, when they get older, they'll remember, hey, I'm not supposed to do this because mama or daddy told me not to do it.
Mhm.
I just, and the other thing is they have taken some of the trauma counselors out of some of the schools, especially in the 53206 district. And these kids see fighting, they hear gunshots sometimes in their neighborhood. They have a lot of kids said, I saw a dead body. They have seen so much that even as a kid, when I was a kid, 50 years ago, I never saw that stuff. And to this day, I haven't seen some of the stuff the kids have seen. But then we expect them to be okay. I know this kid just all of a sudden just started ranting one day at the kindergarten, just crying. Normally a really good kid, just started just cussing and ranting and throwing stuff. That is not a time to suspend a kid. If they're normally good,
Mhm.
Something's going on.
what happened?
Right.
Something's going on.
Something had to have happened.
Mhm.
And we don't have enough counselors in the school district to, not like career counselors, but like psychologists. We want to put everybody on a IEP, but sometimes they just need counseling. But there was many times in our school, the school district I work for, that parents is like, I'm not letting you talk to my kid. I can talk to her. I can, but or him, but there's something there that's not being done. Sometimes a professional can help. 414-444-5250. We're going to take a break. We can talk a little bit about this, and then we're going to go into civic engagement and what does that consist of. We're back and we're talking about when Joe used to get his butt whooped.
Several times.
It was a community thing. Like, my mother never wanted a neighbor to hit us. She would not allow it. But they could grab us up, bring
Right.
us home, tell us what it is, and then she took care of it.
Exactly.
But now you can't even tell a kid something like, why are you doing that?
Don't you tell my kid that. My kid didn't do
It's
that.
not even like them doing that. It's the kid that'll be like, you talking to me?
Right.
Yes. There was a one last story before we go into our second half. I remember I was in the school, and there was a wonderful, sweet lady that taught choir. And I walked in, and these were seventh and eighth graders. And I walked in and I just watched. They looked at me and they saw this stranger here. And then she did the clapping, clap, clap, clap. Everybody sit down, three claps, and and they still kept talking. She's like, I want you to go over here. And this, she was trying to organize so she could get going. And then it kept going for 5 minutes and I couldn't take it. I said, I sort of loud, excuse me. Half the class stopped talking. The other ones like kept talking quietly. And I said, excuse me. And then it was silence. And I said, why is it that you don't know me from Adam? I came in here. I had to say excuse me twice. And I'm pretty sure the only reason I had to say it twice is because some people actually really didn't hear me. And you are watching me and waiting for me to speak. And here it is, your teacher who is doing all this work, trying to educate you, trying to make sure that you are getting lessons, and you haven't looked at her or listened to her one time. I suggest everybody get to where they need to go and listen to the teacher. Don't make me come back. Now, I didn't even tell them who I was. And then I sat back down and it worked. But it's like sometimes it depends on who you are. But it could have been just that they didn't know who I was and they didn't know. So they were curious to know who I was and then like see. But I don't know. I've never really been disrespected.
Well, that could have been too as well. Sometimes kids know by the tone of your voice, oh, maybe I should shape up.
Or I gave the black mama look, maybe.
See, because it's the it's the sometimes the when it's the hey, sit down and relax and stop it, you guys. They run over that. But when they hear the authority in your voice, hey, cut it out.
Knock it off.
Now it's the they shape up. So sometimes you have to
Put a little
kind of
bass in your
display
voice.
that authority because now they take it that it's not. Now they know that it's not a joke. You're not playing.
There is one friend of mine who his mother never spoke above this. But when she yelled at us for stuff, I was scared. She never brought her voice. Well, you guys know, I'm very disappointed. And you felt bad just because she talked like it was just the way. I guess I don't know if it was the tone or the facial or the way. You knew she wasn't going to hit you, but you felt so bad for hurting her feelings, I guess. All right, we're going to talk civic engagement. What is civic engagement? Because this is a organization that does civic engagement, and we have our three pillars, which is protect democracy, build community, teach advocacy. Everything we do is surrounded around those pillars. But what makes up community engagement, I guess? We always talk about engaging in community. So right now we are in that process where one of the parts of it is being aware of your elected officials, being engaged in the political process. And when I say political, it doesn't necessarily mean partisan. Political process. What does your governor, what does your state reps, your senator, state senators, aldermen, county supervisor, DA, treasurers, all those people who are actually elected, what do they do? And then how does it affect you? And what can you do to get information? How all that stuff is part of civic engagement. Um, when the ballots are solidified soon, we'll be inviting the leaders or the people who are running for office to come on the show again and talk about their things and what they want to accomplish or what they are. And then the incumbents, because a lot of them will be incumbents because they might not have an opponent. Let's hold the incumbents accountable. Make sure everybody gets, on the show to talk to their their district, at least in the Milwaukee County area. But what else is there to do?
Well, just kind of real quick piggybacking on what you
Mhm.
just said, for the incumbents that do come on the show or do get out there, even if you don't have anybody running against you, it's a great opportunity to kind of showcase what you've done over the past 1, 2, 3, 4 years and kind of what your platform is moving forward so that you're engaging with those voters.
Right. And again, as we go into this process, remember to go on our website, wisconsinvoices.org, and we have a I guess, what do you call it, Brian?
What's that?
The little link or
Oh,
a little,
our icon, our
yeah,
button.
it's a button, and it says and that's where you can put all your like what questions you want to ask the state reps, the state assembly people, the DA, because that's gonna come up. What else is there on the ballot? The county treasurer, I believe. I think that's the only county seat
I think so.
that's up, I believe. But we'll know all of it in a minute. But tell us what you want to ask them. We're trying to get as many questions as possible to make sure that just not our voices, what our curiosities are, but with other people. Then there's so that's one aspect of it. Another aspect of it is community volunteering and service. Now, when you hear volunteering or you're hearing service, does it mean that you have to go and sign up for a shift and do stuff in like a nonprofit? Not really. You can do it that way, but a community service is just picking up the trash in front of your house sometimes. Sometimes community service is just, you know,
And helping
having
out
us
your older people,
right,
helping out your elderlies.
helping them. You see them with bags, and you don't want to scare them too much. Do you want me to help you put them in the car? Or opening a door for them. Those, it's something that's so small. Let's start out small. If you have never done engagement, say, okay, I'm gonna start out small. I'm just going to pick up the trash around my neighborhood, while you taking a walk, because I need to debrief from the day. I need to walk around my block. I'm gonna take a garbage bag, put some gloves on, and as I'm going, I'm gonna pick up just in this neighborhood. I ain't trying to tell you to clean the whole Metcalf Park or Garden Homes neighborhood community, but it just might be the block that you live on, one side of the block and the other side of the block. But that is community service. Then you go into calling some of these nonprofits or volunteering at, like, I know there's different places you can volunteer, like with the we do a pantry with the Village Group, with Keon Jackson Malone. He has his organization, and we have partnered with him to help with his pantry. Sometimes you can come out to the pantry and be like, okay, what can I do? And sometimes it's just loading up the truck. We load up a U-Haul, we unload the U-Haul, we put all the stuff on tables, so people can just kind of sort of grocery shop to see what they need or what they want, or if they can easily be picked. But that's volunteering. That's something to help the community. We do it every Wednesday. Give us a call if you want to help us with that. But what else? I mean, what other small things people could do?
Go to youth programs and figure out which areas in the city have, anytime that you can set an example for any of the youth and show what it looks like to be a stand-up man, stand-up woman in the community. I believe that is extremely important in Milwaukee. You have so many adults who don't give the right examples in this city, that are just free flowing across, and have some of the craziest personality traits, and don't set the tone to show how to be a strong leader. And they in my age group and older, that don't, some of the ones, like, one of our partners had mentioned, you feel like, the OGs from his era showed the guys that's in their 30s how to move. I mean, most of the time it wasn't even their era. It was the silent generation taught me the one, for the most part. But the ones
What
that was
silent generation is that?
that's the silent generation is everybody born between like 1910,
My dad's in
15
that
to
generation.
like
Yeah.
1930s.
Yep.
19 or late.
My dad was born in
late
38,
30s,
so
yeah.
I think
So
that's about
late
boomer
30s,
right
yeah.
before the
area?
boomers. Yeah.
Right
Right
before the
before
boomers.
boomers.
Yeah, that's the grandma. That's the lost the generation where a lot of the morals and the traditions will be leaving, and the recipes, unfortunately.
Mm.
But yeah, that the ones that are a little older than me, maybe Jermaine's group and some of the ones that's in y'all group, they were still enjoying themselves. So we didn't get some of the lessons that, because they was wanting to play around, and I seen it. I was with them watching them move around, like, oh, okay, they still trying to get themselves together. But yeah, anytime we can set example for any of the youth, you going to school and volunteer. I got plans to go back to volunteer at Glen Hills, just because I know it's it's a suburban school, but it's a lot of young black men and young black
It
boys.
is predominantly black. It's
Yeah.
57% kids of color.
Yeah, and I want to go back and do. A couple years ago, I went and volunteered at the YAC, and the lady tried to stick me in the hall. I'm like, how you gonna stick me in the hallway? And at that time, I was at the gym way more. She gonna stick me in the hallway. I'm like, no, you gotta put me in the gym so I can, be engaged with some of the students and talk to some of the young black men that, a lot of them, they probably got good examples, but some still kind of. I went to Glen Hill, so I understand how it is. But I think it's just going to volunteer schools too as well, and anywhere that you can set example for any of the ones that are going through that mindset change right now, the adolescent years.
One day a month can make a huge difference. Think about
Mhm.
how many people are in the city of Milwaukee. Let's just think of city of Milwaukee. If one day a month, all you did was go and volunteer.
And if you're looking for somewhere, Wisconsin Voices, we have almost over 70 partners, I think now. And many of those organizations are always looking for volunteers. Like you mentioned, Keon Jackson alone down at the food pantry. There's other organizations that we have as well that are always looking for folks to step up. So
on our website, you'll see just a list of our partners' logos. If you see a logo, you see a name, click on it. It'll take you to that website. It doesn't have to be us that you volunteer for.
Right.
It's just in general, volunteer. Other civic engagement, I guess, is community education and awareness, knowing about your community. We are doing a Civics 101 presentation June 12th at our offices at 4201 North 27th Street on the 7th floor. Again, you can go to our website. You can click on it, just scroll down and you'll click on Civics 101, and I have to put your name so we'll know in case something happens that if we cancel the class or something happens that we're able to get a hold of you, but you put your name, your email address, and click on if you want a future class because you can't make the one on the 12th, or if you want to be part of the 12th. Please register. We have information that we give out materials, so we just want to make sure we have enough materials for everyone who is attending the class. That is mostly the purpose of having the registration. But there's other things you do. It's not even about just like civics classes. There's yoga classes, and that builds community, because one of our pillars is building community. But if you're going to a yoga class that's right by you, you might meet your neighbor, and then you got a partner. What you laughing
It's
at,
funny
Brian?
because we talking about our civics class, and we just got reached out through email as we speak, and it was like right on point where a guy is saying that he's interested in doing being a part of civics class. He's reaching out because last year Wisconsin Voices facilitated a Civics 101 workshop with our neighbors. We are hoping that you can facilitate.
Yeah, we are always there to try to help.
And that was a live.
Now here's the thing
email.
with our Civics 101. This is in the perspective of me and Wisconsin Voices. But I know like Turner Hall does a different civics class that they focus kind of on the same, but they do different things. All civics classes are not the same.
And ours evolves, right?
And ours evolves. When we did it last year, we really focused on like who was in office. This is before elections,
Mhm.
making sure you knew where your ward was. Now we go more into the we still do the same things, but we go more into the who's up for election, when is the
Mhm.
elections. So it evolves all the time, and we want to give you materials that you can use. We most of the time we give blue books out. We try to help our state senators and assembly, and I think I've gotten blue books from almost all the assembly people and a few senators. I think I got them from Chris Larson,
Yeah.
former Senator Taylor, Tim Carpenter. So it's not just I have gotten these books from everybody. I have pulled them into the city. So all this, what I'm saying is this is part of civic engagement.
Mhm. Yep.
We are going to take a short break and come back with the last two that I think are very important. This is Wisconsin Voices. Be a Voice, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be right back. Listeners, please pray for Jermaine and Brian.
I'm just saying I could shoot the club up, bro. I could shoot
Right.
the club.
Actually, we can pray for Joe too.
Hey, I'll take the prayers.
I got too many men in here. Where's Latoya? We want to say, Latoya, please get better soon.
Yeah, we praying for Latoya.
It's,
Get well, Latoya.
It's hard in here with just being me being the only female.
That's like when I was riding, I had actually listened to all the Kendrick songs in order. You know, she want to hear all that pop rap songs that Drake produced, and then she was like, she got all serious hearing Kendrick stuff. She's like, this is too much testosterone for me.
I did not do that. I did not do that.
No. I'm talking about I said Ashley when she was listening to the Kendrick beefs.
So our last little kind of engagement or community, how you can do community engagement, is public projects. It's those when you go to heal the hood and you actually go to heal the hood and you engage with listening to what people are saying. When you go to Juneteenth or you volunteer for Juneteenth, that's a community project.
Mm-hmm.
Homer Blow, he got the birthday for the kids. He does that every year. Those are community projects. Sometimes, what about the gardens, the community gardens?
Oh yeah, it's another one just pop up. I know I've seen another one's popping up too. So
there's community gardens. You can go plant.
Mm-hmm.
Some community gardens make you, they say, can you rent out this space? But it's more to cover the cost of things for the community garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then, go help out at Alice Garden. I love Alice's Garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a nice place to just be. Mm-hmm. I know she has a lot of events and different things over the course of the summer. Check her out. There is so much going on, and so many
young brothers
things
in the community
that we can be part of the community. Going to these small festivals. Now, you may not think that going to these like street festivals like Locust Days or Brady Days, that's just a festival. But what you're doing is you're supporting your local vendors, the local bar owners, the local anything, they have vendors and places all over the place. You're supporting them. Yep. I think when is that thing downtown? That should be coming up pretty soon where they close Wisconsin Avenue. And there is a lot of small businesses, minority-owned businesses.
Should be starting next month. Milwaukee
I think it starts in June. Yeah, in June.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the other things that you can do to support your community. So it doesn't always have to be, this intense feel that you have to do it. Sometimes it's just showing up and supporting.
Tamika, could shopping local be a way to build your community as well, and supporting local businesses right in your own neighborhood?
Right. Supporting them, asking them, and remember, we're trying to figure out what we need in the community. What do you want to see? Send us an email so we can tell one of these entrepreneurs, you know what? If you're trying to figure out what business you want to do, we've heard from the community they really want to see this or they really want to see that. I find there's very few authentic, like we do a lot of restaurants, but are there really a lot of authentic restaurants in the actual city of Milwaukee? Yes, they're in the like the downtown area, but where are they here? We just have fast food, kind of. No real sit down restaurants where you can go in, eat. Where are those dive places? Well, and I like to call them diners, where you could go there and have a quick breakfast. And the counter ones. I know there's only one that I still know of is the one off of 35th and Silver Spring.
Joe's Cafe.
Joe's. Is there any other of those Joe's around?
It's places like that bring the community together. I know, my dad goes out for coffee to a local diner every single day just to meet his friends and talk and have a cup of coffee. It's places like that are the heart of our communities too.
Yeah, it used to be a joint on Green Bay that I used to go to all the time. It was off of Green Bay, and it was across from the car lot. I forgot, but it was like a little moms and pops joint, with the
North
counter.
of Silver Spring.
Yeah, but it's closer to Capitol. But it was on Green Bay.
Oh,
it was by the octopus.
no, it was right. It's closer to where the Dak Shack is now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So
not
that
that far.
joint, that
I don't
joint
know
every
if that's still
Saturday.
open.
Nope, it's over.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just their pancakes were so good.
Oh, yeah, so yeah.
Yes, I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Their
That joint
pancakes
was
were on fire.
incredible, man.
Sometimes you just want somebody to make your pancakes, even though pancakes is
Yeah.
easy to make, but they're
Somebody
not the
else.
McDonald pancakes and they're not the Cracker Barrel or any of those other. They just that somebody grandma that made the recipe for it and they gave it to somebody and they put it in.
I got a question for y'all. Has anybody been to that black owned George Webb out in West Allis
Yeah,
yet?
man, that's my boy, 3D.
Okay.
Devon.
Okay.
Yeah. They
Well, that's a support.
they opened the
Actually, I
joint.
love George Webb's.
I
Yeah,
will ride out there for
Bro,
a black owned
it's
George Webb.
he
for
has
sure.
it nice in there, man. Shout out to Devon, man. That's my boy, man. From his slogan is "The world is watching."
That's what's up.
So
Yeah.
West Dallas, and if you want to go support black-owned business, let's go to West Dallas
Yeah.
and support
George
that
Webb,
George
yeah.
Webb's because I love me some George Webb, so I might as well go and support one of those that
I'll take a ride.
community
Hey, I was
just
gonna
for
led.
that.
say, maybe I should call my order in right now. Lunchtime is around the corner, doc.
Man, I used to love that T-bone steak and eggs. They still, ooh.
Man, give me the early risers.
At
I'm
the
good.
Sherman Phoenix Marketplace as
Yeah.
well. I think I saw that on one of the local Milwaukee shows. One of the local radio DJs does a host thing, and he was talking about how that's a lot of black-owned businesses in there, and
There are co-ops and
a lot of
there's a
co-ops
lot
and
of
stuff.
there's a lot there.
A lot of
with
startups and things like that.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
helping
Definitely.
entrepreneurs get off the ground. Yep.
I know some shouts out to the barbers that are there.
Yeah.
Deb,
Yeah.
how you
yeah.
doing?
That's
I
my
don't know
boy.
if you know Deb too.
Yeah, I know
Everybody know Deb.
Yeah, man, that's my dude. That's my dude, man. He's a real good dude, man.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, I think Jada and her crew. There's a barbershop. There's Lala. He be doing his thing there. So there is so many creative people. There's a lot of people who are not out here causing trouble, that are just trying to make their money doing stuff. Let's
Out the
support
way.
them.
Support 'em,
They
yep.
just
Big
go to
time.
work, want to have a good time,
Right.
want to have a place to go so they can unwind, but just living their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's some
not-
great, man. It's great. Folks, all areas, whether you talking about barber, cosmetology, and I just think about my own peoples that I know in this city doing great things everywhere, from real estate owners, the real estate workers, and to people that work at all these law firms. And I got some black excellence in Milwaukee that just because they go home, they don't get the highlights, they behind the scenes, but some great people doing some great things in this city that don't get recognized, won't get interviews, won't get shout outs. The organizations probably won't, get recognized this year or next year, but they doing great things and they working behind the scenes to keep, the city and themselves together. Cause you got to work on yourself while you out here working in the community, because you got to keep yourself on point. Can't be out here working and your mental health is not on point. And that's important.
Well, that's why I am taking, for the first time in my life, literally since in my adulthood that I've been working full time, I have taken maybe 3-4 days off, maybe go from a Tuesday to a Friday, take an extra weekend, but I am taking off starting Friday, and I'm not coming back into the 3rd of June, which is a Tuesday. So that's 11 days, including the weekend. I don't know.
You gonna miss us?
No. I'm going to
That's why
try
she
not
sighed
to
when she
miss.
said when I mentioned
Say,
that
"No, I
part,
ain't gonna
like the
miss
mental.
y'all."
She said, "Oh yeah,
It's just no. I'm
need it.
really. It's hard for some people to like unwind. I've never done it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've never kind of did this before. Even during pandemic, I was one of the essential workers, so I had to work every day. I never got that time where you could sit at home and you had to be what is it called, shut in or
Quarantine.
quarantined.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. And the one time I got COVID, I was in a hotel room in Miami. So
Right.
um I don't know. We gonna see what happens.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you relax a lot and come back refreshed and excited to help
most
lead
likely
Wisconsin Voices.
Most likely I'll find something else to get into or something, but it won't be like, it'll be for myself or what I need to do. So we will be on the air on Friday, and then again, Monday is the holiday, and we're gonna rebroadcast some of our greatest hits if we have any, since we only been doing this since January, and then we'll be back on July or June 2nd. The crew here will be back, and then I will be back sometime in the future. Jermaine, I'm gonna miss you.
I miss you too.
Oh, but we got work to do. All of us have work to do. We want to make our community better. We're not trying to. We start our sessions with our partners. Definitely in June, and then we'll start with interviewing the candidates who reply to us, and then we're gonna try to, in between, we're gonna try to, after 6 months or so, 3 months, 6 months, a 3-month checkup on some of the people who won in the April election. See if they coming in, how they doing, where they, what they're doing. We are Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices. This is 860 AM, 106.5 FM, WNOV. And we will see you on Friday.
Chill.
Have a good one, guys.
I used to try and turn back the tide. I've never been this old in my life. I must be shifted to the sky.